The sudden strike, the stars sparkled above Earth like tiny diamonds. Peaceful and quiet, Commander Jera sat in the Galactic Council chamber, staring at the holographic map, unease twisting in her stomach. Reports had been coming in for hours. Something massive was heading toward Earth, but the Council assured everyone it was safe. Her instincts told her otherwise, but no one would listen. The sky above the planet was calm. Children played in the streets, and people went about their daily lives. Then, without warning, the silence shattered. A blinding light tore through the atmosphere, moving faster than any known ship. It struck without mercy, cities crumbling in seconds, flames rising into the sky. Alarms blared across every major city. People screamed in terror, and chaos spread like wildfire. Buildings twisted and collapsed. Cars were thrown like toys, and communication networks went dead. The oceans boiled in some places. Lightning crackled wildly in the strange new sky. Jara's heart pounded as she watched the destruction unfold on her monitor, unable to believe her eyes. The Council's voice came over the intercom, calm and cold, claiming everything was under control. Jara gritted her teeth, knowing it was a lie. The truth was, Cleareth had no warning, no chance, and the Council had deceived the entire galaxy. Ships in orbit tried to retaliate, but the strike had been precise, almost surgical, leaving no room for defense. Among the chaos, a few humans tried to fight back, but their weapons were useless against the power that had struck. Fires spread uncontrollably, smoke covering the skies, and the world seemed to burn as if the stars themselves had attacked. Jara felt a deep anger building inside her, not just for the destruction, but for the lies that had caused it. She knew survival was possible, but the cost would be high, and the galaxy would never be the same. From the orbital command station, Jara gathered a small team of survivors, scientists, and soldiers. She promised them one thing: they would survive, they would escape, and they would uncover the truth. Every step was dangerous, as Council ships scoured the skies for any remaining humans, but Jara's resolve grew stronger with every passing moment. In the streets below, civilians ran blindly, some helping others, some frozen in shock. The sky glowed red, orange, and violet as the massive strike continued to wreak havoc. Jara could feel the fear of the world pressing against her like a weight, yet amid the chaos, a spark of courage flickered. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, and they would again. She watched a small child reach for her mother, trapped under a fallen beam. Jara's mind raced. There was no time, no room for hesitation. The Council had betrayed them, yes, but humans were not helpless. If they acted quickly, they could save lives, and perhaps, someday, make the galaxy pay for the lies. The first strike had ended as quickly as it began, leaving a ruined, burning planet behind, but the consequences were only starting to appear. Other worlds in the galaxy watched in silence, fear, and confusion. The lie of the Council had been exposed in an instant, and no one could ignore it anymore. Jara's eyes burned with determination, her team ready beside her. She knew the fight was only beginning. Earth had been struck, but humanity's story was far from over. The galaxy would see that even in destruction, courage and truth could rise, and somewhere in the shadows, those responsible were watching, smiling at the chaos they had created, unaware that they had awakened a force that could never be silenced. The Council's secret. Jara and her small team of survivors floated above the ruined Earth, in an abandoned orbital station. The silence was heavy, broken only by the hum of the old ship's engines and the occasional warning light. She tapped her fingers on the console, staring at the dark planet below. The once blue oceans were scarred with fire, and cities were nothing more than rubble. Her mind raced as she accessed the Galactic Council's hidden files. Bypassing layers of encryption, what she found made her stomach turn. Earth had been marked for destruction long before the strike. The Council had known, yet they pretended the planet was safe. Hiding the truth from the galaxy, images and reports filled her secret meetings, and alien weapons designed to erase Earth. The Council had lied not just to humans, but to every species in the galaxy. Their fear of humanity's potential had driven them to commit an unimaginable act. Jara felt rage building, mixed with disbelief, but she knew she had to stay calm. Her communicator crackled suddenly, a cold, unfamiliar voice warning her to stop. But Jara refused. She could not turn away from the truth. She shared the files with her team, showing them the Council's lies and hidden plans. Every face in the room turned pale as they realized the depth of the betrayal. One file contained references to a hidden alien race, a race that the Council had feared for centuries. The humans' rise was seen as a threat, a spark that could awaken powers the Council could not control. And so Earth had been destroyed as a warning, a lesson for all. The orbital station trembled as patrol ships from the Council approached, scanning for survivors. Jarrah's team moved quickly, hiding in shadows, hearts racing. Every second was a test. Every breath could be their last. But the truth had to be protected, and they had no choice but to fight for it. Jarrah studied the data, discovering more than just lies. There were plans for other worlds, hidden weapons, and a network of secret enforcers. The galaxy was living under a veil of deception, controlled by fear and greed. And now, thanks to the Council's recklessness, the veil had begun to tear. She knew revealing this secret would make them enemies of the Council. But humanity could not remain silent. The galaxy deserved to know, and the survivors of Earth could become the spark of rebellion, even if it meant risking their lives. Jarrah was ready to act. The team prepared the orbital station's escape pods, ready to flee before the Council could strike. They needed to reach other civilizations, allies who could help expose the truth. Time was short, and the Council would stop at nothing to maintain control. Jarrah's determination grew stronger with every passing moment. She looked at Earth one last time, smoke and fire curling into the dark sky. The planet had suffered, but its story was not over. Somewhere among the ruins, humans were surviving, resisting, and ready to rise again. Jarrah clenched her fists. She would make sure the galaxy knew the truth, no matter the cost. The Council had lied. Humanity had suffered, but courage, hope, and determination could not be destroyed. And somewhere in the galaxy, allies waited, ready to join the fight. The path ahead was dangerous, uncertain, and full of risk. But Jarrah had made her choice. She would expose the lies, fight the Council, and protect what remained of Earth. The galaxy was about to see the power of truth, and humanity would prove it was not weak. Escape and Alliance. Jarrah's team climbed into an old scout ship, its metal creaking under the weight of hurried repairs. The engines hummed nervously, and lights flickered as the crew prepared for escape. Outside, Council patrols scanned the orbit, their sensors sharp and unyielding. Every second counted, and every mistake could mean death. As the ship lifted from the orbital station, Earth's ruins glowed below. Cities burned like molten lava. Oceans reflected streaks of fire. Jarrah gripped the control panel, her eyes fixed on the stars ahead. She knew survival meant more than escaping the Council. It meant finding allies. They navigated through asteroid fields, weaving between jagged rocks with precise skill. Every maneuver was tense, and the silence in the cabin carried the weight of danger. One wrong move, and the Council's ships would strike, ending the fight before it had begun. Yet, with every passing mile, Jarrah felt the fire of hope burn brighter. The team plotted a course to a distant system rumored to host an alien civilization. These aliens had once been silenced by the Council, their voices erased from galactic records. Jarrah hoped they would understand the truth, and perhaps join the fight against deception. The journey was long, filled with danger, but their resolve never wavered. When they arrived, the alien city was silent, strange structures glimmering with life. The aliens watched from a distance, wary and cautious. Jarrah stepped forward, showing evidence of the Council's lies. The holographic records displayed Earth's destruction, hidden weapons, and secret orders. The aliens studied the data, murmuring in languages the humans could not understand. Some faces showed anger, some disbelief, but slowly, trust began to form. An alliance, fragile but powerful, was born in that moment. Together, humans and aliens would challenge the Council's authority. Meanwhile, Council agents had begun tracking them, relentless in their pursuit. Every signal sent, every move made, was monitored. Jarrah taught her team to trust instincts over technology. They relied on cunning, skill, and the element of surprise to stay one step ahead. At night, the alien sky shimmered with strange, floating orbs. Jarrah and her allies plotted their next steps under the soft glow. The stakes were high. Earth had fallen. The Council's power was immense, but if they acted wisely, they could expose the truth to the entire galaxy. Conversations between humans and aliens grew, plans formed, and strategies sharpened. They shared knowledge, tactics, and courage, building a bond stronger than fear. Jarrah felt hope like she had never felt before. Even in the shadows of destruction, unity had become their weapon. The Council, powerful and cunning, had underestimated humanity's spirit. Earth's strike was meant to silence them, but it had only awakened determination. Jera's team knew the journey ahead would be dangerous, yet they were ready, their courage and alliances growing with every passing moment as they prepared to leave the alien system. Jera looked at the stars. She imagined Earth below. Scarred but not forgotten, the galaxy had seen the Council's lies, and a spark of resistance had been lit. Jera clenched her fists. This was only the beginning, and the fight for truth was far from over. The hidden weapon Jera's team traveled through deep space, moving silently between star systems. Every blink of a distant star reminded them of the galaxy's vastness and the Council's reach. They intercepted encrypted transmissions that chilled them to the bone. The Council had built a weapon, a device capable of destroying entire planets in seconds. Earth had been only the first target, a warning to the galaxy. Jera felt a surge of anger and fear, knowing more worlds could fall if they failed. The aliens who joined their alliance shared stories of past Council attacks. Civilizations silenced, cultures erased, entire species hidden from history. The hidden weapon was located on a distant moon, surrounded by Council patrols. Jera studied the plans carefully, searching for weaknesses. Her team prepared for infiltration, knowing one mistake could mean total annihilation. Every crew member carried hope and determination like armor against the fear. They entered the Council's base under the cover of darkness. Corridors were lined with sensors and traps. Humming ominously, Jera led her team with steady hands, careful not to trigger alarms. Every step was tense, every shadow a possible threat. Finally, they saw it, the weapon. Massive and pulsing with energy, its hum filled the chamber, a sound that made the air itself vibrate. Jera felt the scale of the Council's ambition and the danger of their lies. This device could erase worlds, crush civilizations, and silence any resistance forever. Council forces discovered them, and chaos erupted. Blaster fire filled the hallways, sparks flew, and the base shook with explosions. Jera and her team fought fiercely, relying on teamwork and cunning. Alien allies used strange energy powers. Humans used skill and bravery. Together, they pushed through, determined to stop the weapon. Jera confronted a Council leader, demanding answers. The truth spilled out. Earth had been sacrificed to hide the Council's greed and fear. The weapon was not just a tool of war, it was a tool of control. Every planet could be destroyed if it opposed the Council. Jera's anger boiled, but she held steady, knowing she had to survive to fight another day. Working quickly, the team disabled the weapon. Using knowledge from the alien allies, energy flickered and alarms screamed. But the device powered down. Jera breathed heavily, knowing they had stopped a catastrophe. But the fight was not over. The galaxy now knew the Council's true nature, and enemies would come for them. Determined to protect their lives, as the team escaped, they looked back at the deactivated weapon. It was a symbol of the Council's deception and humanity's courage. The galaxy had been kept in darkness for too long, and now, the spark of resistance burned brighter than ever. Jera felt a mix of exhaustion and hope. They had survived impossible odds, exposed lies, and built alliances. The hidden weapon was defeated, but the war for truth and survival had only just begun. The galaxy would never forget Earth's strike, the Council's lies, and the humans who dared to fight back. The galaxy reels with the Council's hidden weapon disabled. Jera and her team sped through space. The stars stretched ahead like a river of light, promising both danger and hope. They carried evidence of the Council's lies, documents, recordings, and proof of Earth's destruction. The galaxy had to know the truth, and Jera was determined to deliver it. Jera activated the communication array, broadcasting across multiple systems. Messages of warning, proof, and truth spread like fire. Alien civilizations reacted with shock and outrage. The Council's power, built on lies and fear, began to crumble. Planets that had once stayed silent now raised their voices. Allies joined Jera's cause, lending ships, intelligence, and energy. The galaxy was uniting in ways the Council had never imagined. Humanity, nearly destroyed, had become the spark of a revolution. On Earth, survivors emerged from the ruins, scarred but determined. They rebuilt communities, shared resources, and helped each other recover. News of Jera's success reached them, giving hope to a world that had almost been erased. The human spirit, resilient and strong, proved unstoppable. Jera's team returned to Earth orbit briefly, looking down at the planet they had saved. Flames still rose from some cities, but life persisted. She felt pride and sorrow intertwined. Earth had suffered, but it had survived. The Council had lied, but humanity had endured, and now, the galaxy could see their strength. The Council, weakened and exposed, tried to regroup, but no one trusted them, and whispers of rebellion grew louder. Jarrah's broadcast had changed everything. The galaxy was awake, and deception could no longer thrive. The lies that had nearly destroyed worlds were now laid bare. Alien allies visited Earth, sharing knowledge and technology. Humanity learned to defend itself, to grow stronger, and to never be controlled again. Jarrah's leadership inspired courage across planets. The galaxy had witnessed the power of truth and unity, and it was unstoppable. Standing beside her team, Jarrah looked at the stars. Each one seemed to shine brighter than before. She thought of those lost, those who had fought, and those who would rise in the future. The galaxy had been shaken, but it was alive, watching, learning, and ready to resist oppression. Humanity's name spread across worlds as a symbol of courage. The Council had tried to crush them, but they had underestimated the human spirit. Jarrah smiled, knowing the fight was far from over, but hope was now stronger than fear. Every civilization they had helped now shared a bond forged in survival, truth, and courage. The galaxy reeled from the revelation, but it also awakened. Worlds once silent now spoke, alliances formed, and the Council's lies could not return. Jarrah felt a deep satisfaction, knowing that humanity had risen from the ashes. They had survived destruction, faced impossible odds, and changed the galaxy forever. And as the stars shone brightly above, a new era began, one of vigilance, courage, and unity. The Council had lied, Earth had suffered, but humanity and its allies had proven that truth and bravery could never be defeated. The galaxy would remember, and it would never be the same.